Welcome to the Community Voice. I'm Fara Sax. I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Floridian Furniture, for all your home furnishing needs. They're located in Coral Gables, and they're a family-owned business for the last 55 years. Today's going to be an interesting one. We have a very special guest in our studio, Ellie's Army Foundation, not the whole Army, but we have Ellie's mom, Stacey Levy. She is the mother of Ellie, who was a young girl who had cystic fibrosis. But Ellie had a mission, and Ellie's mission was to help families that couldn't afford to pay their bills because of the financial burdens. So this young woman, in spite of her own problem, she had a bigger mission. So today's story is about love, legacy, and passion. So Stacey, I want to thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And it's Levi.
Levy.
Levy. Oh my God.
That's okay.
Twice then.
It's okay.
So I just want to show a little bit about your Ellie.
Okay, great.
Kind of young woman.
Yes.
So if we can roll the tape.
Will you hear her singing?
I think so.
Okay.
Fill the room.
I gotta share my screen here 1 second.
She brings to those who love the sweet fulfillment of their secret longing, like a bolt out of the blue. Faith steps in hand, sees you through. When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. Wow.
Was that you?
She had the best laugh.
Oh, that was you or her?
No, that was her.
Oh, so sweet. So sweet. So tell me about Ellie.
Ellie was something. She was born with cystic fibrosis, which is a genetic disease that primarily affects the lungs. And she was a fighter. And she loved life. She lived it fully. She loved people. She loved having new experiences. She knew that her life was not going to be a long one. And so she packed in as much as she could and, just lived a magnificent life.
And at what point did she realize that she wanted to do something more, that she knew that she could help? She could be her own warrior and help
Sure.
other young adults and children.
So what happened was when we started to spend more time in the hospital Ellie was probably around 9 years old at that time. And we started to see these families that were struggling financially. And so we decided to start the foundation. It was called the Reach for the Stars Foundation. It was started in 2001, and we helped families that had children with cystic fibrosis, and we helped them with their financial needs. We started it with Jay Fiedler, who was the quarterback of the Dolphins at the time, and we really did a lot of good work. As Ellie got older and sicker, we didn't do as much with the foundation. And then Ellie passed away in 2014 after 2 double lung transplants back to back. The first one failed within 5 days, and then she was on life support for a month until they found her new lungs. So she lived with those new lungs for about 6 months, and then she passed away from a virus. but she always wanted to help other people. At the time, there was a young woman in the hospital who also had cystic
Was this
fibrosis.
Amy?
No, it wasn't Amy. It
But
was
the more I read, it's like I
yeah.
feel like I know her friends and
Yes.
where she was.
Yes.
And that was also a beautiful story of
Yes.
just, in her own ill health, she was able to reach out and really make
Right.
a difference. So
Yes.
I'm sorry, but tell me the other story.
Well, in order to get a transplant at Duke University Medical Center, which was where Ellie was, you need to have a certain amount of money that you can access. So the amount is $15,000. And there was one girl who didn't have the money for that. And she wasn't able to get a transplant, which meant that, she wasn't going to live. And Ellie looked at me and my husband, Brian, and said, well, what are we going to do about this? It wasn't, can we do something about it? It was like, what are you going to do about it?
Hence the Army.
Yes, yes. And when she was sick in those months at Duke, an army assembled, her doctors, her nurses, all of the people in the hospital. And her story on Facebook, and it ended up going viral. And it was called the Get Welly page. And Ellie's friends and family started to look at it first, but before you knew it, we had people from all over the world holding up Get Welly signs. And it was really quite something. And that's how we came up with the name Ellie's Army, because an army assembled and they supported her. And it was really an incredible experience. And so when Ellie passed away in 2014, we started to decide to start up the foundation again. And we changed the name in 2017 to Ellie's Army Foundation. And we help children and young adults that have all life-threatening illnesses, not just cystic fibrosis.
So, and how do you step in? How does that happen? How do you get funding, and how do you distribute to the families in need? And it's young children, young adults, and you help them with their medical bills, if family needs their rent maybe paid.
Yes, whatever it is that they need, we pay. So sometimes it is medical bills and therapies and nutritional supplements or equipment. But sometimes what happens is, because of the enormous medical expenses that these people have, they are unable to pay for their basic daily living expenses like rent or mortgage and electricity, water. We've purchased cars for people. Whatever it is that they need.
And where is it? Where are you located? Where do you reach? Who do you reach?
We help people nationally. We're located in Miami, but we help people nationally.
And so they just come out and they reach out.
We are connected with certain hospitals that make referrals to us. We get a lot of requests from people in the cystic fibrosis community because we know, we are known in the community. And, sometimes people find us on our website.
Absolutely. What is your website, so that in case
it's elliesarmy.org, ELLIES.org, O-R-G.
So it really is an army of people that
It is.
are behind the scenes and helping.
Yes.
And how many people to date do you think that you've been able to help?
I think that since we started in 2017, we've helped about 96, 97 people.
And $322,000 you've been able to donate to help people get through these tough times?
Everybody's different. We've paid up to $10,000 to certain individuals that really were struggling, and in order to save their home. I guess the average that we spend per family is almost $3,000.
Wow. And that can really make a very big difference for, like we were just
It
discussing,
makes a
single
big
parent
difference.
that has other children in the home, and how do they balance between having a sick child or young adult child
Yes,
and having to care for them. And I think that really is what Ellie was hoping that people would be able to do, is that their families can step in, take care of them without the financial
right,
burden.
right. And
That's
give them
around.
the best chance to survive. Give them everything that they need. Because if a family is I mean, we've gotten requests with people that state that they're petrified of having to live in their car, because how will they be able to give their children the machines that, the breathing treatments and the different things that the child needs. I mean, to be in a shelter, it's we feel very strongly that it's hard enough to have a child that's sick, but in order to have financial problems on top of it, it's just too much. It's too much. So we, do whatever we can to alleviate those financial burdens and give them the best shot.
Which brings us to now, with it being burdened, and some of the struggles that families are living with due to COVID, due to the past year,
Yes.
people being laid off, still bills need to be paid, children still are
Yes.
ill. So what's that been like for the
It's
Ellie's
been very, very
Army
hard
Foundation?
on the families. As far as Ellie's Army is concerned and our fundraising efforts, people have really stepped up. I think that's the wonderful thing about Americans. We see that people are struggling and step up to help. So we really haven't seen our fundraising efforts falling off too much, thankfully.
And so it's really good because it brings us to our fundraiser.
Yes.
They're really wonderful. So I'll let you introduce the Dirty Socks 5K
Yes.
and Runathon
Yep. So
happening in Aventura.
yes, it's our third annual event, and it's chaired by it's actually the Watermill Trading Dirty Socks 5K Run and Walkathon. We have an amazing title sponsor this year.
But I think I want to hear the backstory of Ellie's doctor
Okay.
and the Dirty Socks.
Yes.
And her determination
Yes.
by doing laps around. So
Yes.
please tell me.
So the story goes that when Ellie, after her transplants, her doctors told her that if she wanted to get well, she would have to walk. And this one particular surgeon that she was very close with, who actually came to the walk last year from Atlanta, he told her that he wanted to see dirty socks because that would prove that she was walking. And so, she just walked and walked. And one day she handed those socks to him in a bag. And he said that he was going to keep them in his office for the rest of his life. She inspired him.
And when I got to that part,
it
was just so human and so connected.
Yes.
And I felt like he was so connected to your daughter.
He was a lifeline for us and a special doctor. And, the doctors all said the thing about Ellie was that she did everything they asked her to do. And sometimes it was tough. I mean, sometimes, a walk consisted of 2 steps. And it was probably harder than if, I tried to run 5 miles, which would be pretty impossible. Those 2 steps. But we figure that all children in the hospital wear medical socks and they have to walk to get well. So on April 25th, we're going to be walking for them and walking for Ellie.
So tell us, so there's going to be a swag bag included?
Yes.
And
so this year we're doing the event virtually and in person.
So the virtual was like from March to the
It's already started,
Mhm.
but you can sign up and the last day is April 25th.
And I believe it's charityfootprints.com/dirty
Socks. Yes.
And the phone number is 305 756-0068.
Yes.
Oh, good. I got that right.
Yes, that's our number. You can call me for anything, any questions. And
What was the biggest thing that you learned when you've had a critically ill child that you wish that you would have known then?
when I first had the child,
Yes, when you first had Ellie, and what you've learned over the years of learning how to care for and some of the struggles that you dealt with.
I think that one of the things that happened, and this affected people with COVID, we all know now what it's like to be afraid of getting sick with a virus. And when you have a child that's already compromised, like I lived like that always washing my hands, always making sure nobody was sick that would come into my house. We lived with these precautions. And when, as a young mother, I was very afraid, and I was in a constant state of panic. And what I think the most wonderful lesson that I've been taught throughout this situation in our lives is to be able to let go of that fear. And life is going to happen. You can be as careful as you want, and do the best that you can do, but that's all that you can do. And then you've got to let it go. And this way you're able to enjoy your life. We enjoyed our life with Ellie. In the beginning, we were so afraid, that we limited everything, and it was like very controlling. But as she grew up, we realized we had to let her go. We had to let her go to college. She got sick in college, but she had to live. And Ellie always felt that she was here for a short time in her life, and we wanted her to live the fullest life that she could, and she did.
So you learned a lot of lessons from her.
I learned a lot of lessons from her. I realized I always thought that I was here to teach her. And I realized after she passed how much she's really taught me, and how much of a teacher and a strong spirit she was. And I still feel her with me.
And I feel her too. When I was preparing for this, I was like, she was going, "Yeah, Fara, you say that." And Stacey's just such a force to be reckoned with, because this has become like almost your legacy too, to helping other families, making the lemonade.
Yeah. I feel good about it. I mean, I have a grown son, and I don't know what else I would be doing. Like, what am I going to do? So we've taken this on. We have somebody that works part-time. So most of the money goes to help the families. And, it's just what I do, and I love it.
And you do it well.
Thank you.
And the
trying.
Event,
We're doing the best we can.
You.
That's true. We have wonderful chairs. Cindy and Scott Orlinsky are the chairs for the event, and Cindy's on the board of the foundation, and she's very devoted and works tirelessly for this cause and for these families.
So this event, Dirty Socks, is going to be held on April 25th.
Yes.
The walk starts at 8:00.
Yes. Registration's at
7. Or pre-register.
Yes, you could pre-register, and if you pre-register, you can pick up your swag bags and bibs on Friday and Saturday at City Bikes in Aventura.
Is there an address?
I don't know it offhand.
City Bikes Aventura. City
Yes.
Bikes Aventura. And the race begins at Aventura Branch Library.
Yes.
Which is 2930
Aventura Boulevard.
Aventura Boulevard.
And then we make our way around the circle in Aventura.
So you get out there, you want to walk, you want to run, you want to just donate, The number's on the bottom. It's charityfootsteps.com/
Footprints. charityfootprints.com/
dirty
socks.
305-756-0068. Anything else you want to share with us today?
Well, I just hope that everybody comes out. It's a great day. We're taking precautions for COVID. And we're hoping that people will come out. If you're not comfortable, you can sign up virtually. We have Duncan Robinson from the Miami Heat. He's become the ambassador for our foundation.
Nice.
And he's gotten very involved. He has a team. He chose to do the team with Ellie. So it's Duncan and Ellie's Dirty Socks crew. So if you want, you can walk with them. Just come out. We have a lot of fun. We have a warm-up, a Zumba. We have a children's race. And in the last 2 years, we've also had children's activities and a village. But this year, we're kind of limiting as much some of that stuff so that we're not taking as many chances because of COVID. But we still will have different booths there with some sponsors, and it's going to be a great day. We have a great committee, a lot of fun, so it's going to be a great day.
And supporting a great cause, helping families in need.
Yes.
And their kids, and Ellie's Army Foundation.
Ellie's Army Foundation.
Stacey, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, Fara.
Thank you for watching today. Well, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We hope to see you again on the Community Voice.